Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another deck tech. Today we are going to be talking about budget, modern, $20 mono red aggro. So I'm really excited to bring this list to you. Couple things before we get started. So the first thing is, obviously, as always, let me know what you think of the deck list once we go over it here. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Just let me know below. And as always, I will leave a deck list in the description below if you want to check it out, maybe purchase it yourself. Last thing before we hop into it here, one of our subscribers, Lagfest, in the comments the other day, I believe it was our budget elf deck, asked if it was possible if we could make a deck for $20. And I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, probably, I guess. I don't know that for certain. I can tell you what, we definitely did. We were able to have very few restrictions and build a solid looking $20 aggro deck. So I'm very excited to bring this list to you overall. It's really fun. Like, honestly, I'll probably actually build the list myself. I have most of the cards, but there's a handful I'm personally missing. Definitely going to check those out for sure. So we're going to hop right into it here. And as always, we're going to start with our 1-drops. We're playing 4 Bulmat Couriers, 4 Fanatical Firebrand, and 4 Sawblade Scamp. So Bulmat Courier is a 1-mana artifact creature construct with haste. When it attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. You can't look at it. 1 red, discard your hand, sacrifice Bulmat Courier, put all cards exiled with Bulmat Courier into their owner's hands. Just a great card to be playing in general. Obviously if we run out of cards like Mono Red likes to do, we can sack the Bulmat Courier and get a whole bunch of cards back. So just a great card to be playing in general. Then we're playing 4 Fanatical Firebrand, 1/1 for 1 red, Goblin Pirate with haste. We can tap, sacrifice Fanatical Firebrand. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Just a great card to be playing in general. It's aggressive 1-drop that we can also sacrifice to ping, a Ragavan or just our opponent too. Really great card. Then we're playing 4 Sawblade Scamp, a pretty new card from Phyrexia All-Be-One. It's a 1/1 for 1 red with haste, Phyrexian Beast. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on Sawblade Scamp. Tap, remove an oil counter from Sawblade Scamp. It deals 1 damage to each opponent. What I really like about this card is, some board states were not able to get in any damage with the Sawblade Scamp, but if we're playing a bunch of non-creature spells like we have in the deck, then it's great. It can sit back, maybe on defense, or it can just sit there and just ping our opponent. So I really like Sawblade Scamp. I think it's a great addition for this deck. So next, we got a couple more 1-drops. We're playing 4 Phoenix Chicks, 4 Scorch Spitter, and 2 Grim Lavamancer. So Phoenix Chick is a 1/1 for 1 red with flying and haste. It's a Phoenix. Phoenix Chick can't block. When you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may pay red. If you do, return Phoenix Chick from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking with a +1/+1 counter on it. Just a really great 1-drop in general, and it is flying, so sometimes we can just poke our opponent with the Phoenix Chick. What's also really nice about it is obviously being able to bring it back to the battlefield is a great effect to be able to do. So, very happy that we have Phoenix Chick. We have 4 Scorch Spitters. It's a 1/1 for 1 red Elemental Lizard. When Scorch Spitter attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. With Scorch Spitter, you probably can guess what we're playing. It's going to be in the next slide. But for those who don't know, we're going to go ahead and talk about Grim Lavamancer. It's a 1/1 for 1 red Human Wizard. We can tap a red and tap it, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Grim Lavamancer deals 2 damage to any target. Man, this card is really good. I'm very happy we can play a couple in our budget list. Not quite as aggressive as some of these other cards, but being able to cash in our dead creatures or other instants and sorceries we play to be able to do damage is just a great effect, and it works really well with a card that I'm going to show on our next slide because it is a 1/1. So very happy to be playing Grim Lavamancer. So next we have Chandra's Pyroling. It's a 1/3 for 1 and a red Elemental Lizard. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Pyroling gets +1/+0 and gains double strike until end of turn. So very good card. I really like this card. With Chandra's Spitfire, which is a very similar card, it's a 1/3 for 2 and a red Elemental with flying. Whenever an opponent is dealt non-combat damage, Chandra's Spitfire gets +3/+0 until end of turn, which is incredibly good with the main part of the deck for Cavalcade of Calamity. It's a enchantment for 1 and a red. Whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade of Calamity deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature's attacking. So that's why we're playing so many 1/1s for 1. We have our 1/3 for 2, our 1/3 for 3. So, what's really, really cool about Cavalcade, so let's say we have Chandra Spitfire, and then we have like 3 other 1-drops, right, and we're attacking. So, what happens is, so we attack with the Spitfire and 3 1/1s, right? The Cavalcade has 4 triggers of dealing damage. So that means it's from the 4 creatures, the Spitfire, and the 3 other creatures that are attacking. So that means when that ability resolves, Chandra Spitfire gets +12/+0 until end of turn, since there's 4 triggers of non-combat damage with Cavalcade of Calamity. So Chandra Spitfire just gets absolutely massive when we're playing Cavalcade of Calamity with all of our other 1-drops. Chandra's Pyroling is essentially another copy of Chandra Spitfire. Does a similar function. It gets the +1/+0 and double strike. Just a great card to be playing in general. I really like Cavalcade with all of our little small creatures that also deal additional damage. Also, Scorch Spitter is very good with Chandra Spitfire because the 1 damage is obviously also non-combat damage. So, yes, very good card. Cavalcade of Calamity is the main part of the deck. It's what really makes the deck hum, and that's obviously why we're playing 4. And Chandra Spitfire gets very out of hand very, very quick in this deck. So next we have 4 Lightning Bolts and 3 Light Up the Stage. These are the rest of our non-creatures. Lightning Bolt, it's 1 red instant, deals 3 damage to any target. Classic card. And then we have 3 Light Up the Stage. It's 2 and a red sorcery. Spectacle for a red. You may cast this spell for its spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Just a great card to be playing in general. You know, we have all of our little 1-drop creatures, which it's very easy for us to get the spectacle cost in this deck for sure. So a lot of times just exile the top 2. So great card to be playing in general. And that is the entire main board, I believe. Yes. So our land base, pretty simple. We're playing 15 mountains and 4 Castle Embereth. We were able to fit a non-basic land in our $20 deck. Castle Embereth enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. Then we can tap it for a red, or we can tap 1 red and tap. Creatures you control get +1/+0 till end of turn. Just a great effect to be playing. It's just extra damage with our lands. Also worth noting, Castle Embereth can be activated at instant speed. So with our Cavalcade, we want to attack first, then to get the Cavalcade trigger, and then we can activate the Castle Embereth. It's very important because if we pump our creatures before the Cavalcade, that means that we don't get any of the Cavalcade triggers. So always make sure when you're playing Castle Embereth, you activate it after the Cavalcade has gone off. Just worth noting. Figured I would throw that in there. So that is the entire of our main board. We've only got 2 slides for our sideboard and we're already done. I feel like we are flying through this already. So we have 3 Tormod's Crypts. 0 mana artifact. We can tap, sacrifice Tormod's Crypt, exile target player's graveyard. Obviously great against all the graveyard decks. We're playing 2 Dragon's Claw. 2 mana artifact. Whenever a player casts a red spell, you may gain 1 life. Great against the opposing burn decks or other hyper aggressive decks because we're gaining life off of our cards too. Then we're playing 3 Leyline of Combustion. 2 red enchantment. If Leyline of Combustion is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Whenever you or at least 1 permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Leyline of Combustion deals 2 damage to that player. Simply put, this card beats up on decks that play a lot of removal for our creatures and such. Leyline of Combustion is just really good at fighting those. For instance, if they Fury 3 of our creatures, that means they're taking 6 damage with Leyline of Combustion. So, just a great card to be playing in general. Also works really well with Chandra's Spitflame and Chandra's Pyroling, there we go. So, just a great card to be playing in general. And rounding out our sideboard here, we have 2 Smash to Smithereens. It's 1 and a red instant. Destroy target artifact. Smash to Smithereens deals 3 damage to that artifact's controller. 2 Molten Rains, 1 red sorcery. Destroy target land. If that land is non-basic, Molten Rain deals 2 damage to that land's controller. Obviously, Molten Rain is really good against like Amulet Titan or Tron, just to blow up those lands. Smash to Smithereens is just great against any artifact deck. Then rounding it out, we have 3 Dead and Gones. The first side instant deals 2 damage to target creature. Gone is 2 and a red. Return target creature you don't control to its owner's hand. So just a great card to be playing in general. I mean, really can't say enough about this card. It's really great because it's cheap removal on the one side. The other side can bounce some big creatures, like the main reason we're playing it, Murktide. It gets rid of those pesky Murktides that we definitely cannot really punch through. So, simply put, that's why we're playing the Dead and Gones. And that's it. We've reached the end of the deck tech. Also, I would like to note, this deck is like 98% Pioneer legal, other than a few sideboard cards, and the Lightning Bolt and the Grim Lavamancer. This entire deck is Pioneer legal, so if you'd like to play it in Pioneer, you can easily swap the Lightning Bolts for like Play with Fires or Shocks or Wild Slashes, and you could switch out the Grim Lavamancers for just 2 more random 1-drops like Tin Street Dodger or something like that, and then you've got yourself a Pioneer deck as well. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on this budget deck tech. I think this is really fun overall. Let me know in the comment section below if you decide to build this. How does it play at your modern FNM or anything like that? Just let me know in the comment section below. I'm Commander Crane. I'll catch you in the next one.